Chapter 10. Years passed, and Helen's girls had grown up to be lovely young women. Johnny May was married to the new pastor of their church and had 3 daughters. Her husband had a crush on her ever since they were children in Sunday school together. They had a beautiful marriage. Hortense had 2 daughters and was married to a local farmer. Folks came from all around to buy their fruits and vegetables. Hortense was happy and had a nice family. Luella was a widow. Her husband died of a stroke, leaving her to care for their 2 sons, Arthur, who was 6 years old, and John, who was 4 years old. Everyone always said they were the spitting image of their grandpa Pete. After burying her husband, she moved back home with her mama. Helen was happy to have Lou and the boys at home. It gave her a chance to cook like she used to. Pete had passed on to glory a couple years before of heart failure, and Helen felt quite lonely at times. Besides, Helen, Teddy, and Leela were the only ones still alive. Watching her loved ones die one after another took its toll on Helen, but having her daughters and grandsons there filled the house with joy and laughter again. Lou always worked at the game house, running the card tables just like her mom and aunties did when she was growing up. But after she lost her husband, she picked up another job as a maid working for the mayor and his wife 3 days a week. Lou had known the mayor for years. Back when he was a city councilman, he would give her mama a hug and give Lou and her sisters $1 each. "What do you say, girls?" Helen would ask. "Thank you, sir," they would say in unison. The mayor frequented the game house quite often, and after Lou lost her husband, he offered her the job. He was a good guy, and Lou liked and respected him. It was the wife who Lou didn't like. The mayor and his wife had no children, but they had a dog, a poodle, that the wife talked to and treated like it was a baby, and she expected Lou to do the same. One year, the mayor threw a 4th of July party, and his sister came all the way from California to celebrate. Her name was Natalie, and she was a free spirit. She traveled all over the world and knew all kinds of people, even movie stars. Her late husband was a Hollywood producer who died of influenza. The morning of the party, Lou was busy cleaning the kitchen when Natalie entered the room. "Good morning, Luella." "Good morning, ma'am," Lou responded. "Where's my dear sister-in-law?" "I just drew her a bath," Lou replied. "And where's the mutt? In the tub with her?" Natalie teased. What she said tickled Lou. She smiled and made a mental note to tell her mama so they can laugh about it later. "Honestly, Luella, I don't know how you deal with her. She treats that dog better than she treats people, especially the help." Lou just smiled and kept working. "Will you be here all day?" Natalie asked. "No, ma'am. I'm leaving after I finish up in here," Lou answered. "Good for you. I wouldn't be here either if it wasn't for my brother. Maybe I'll grab hold to a rich gentleman who can show me a good time here," Natalie said. "I'm sure you'll have a good time," Lou said. Later that night, Lou and her friends were greeting customers and running the card tables. The 4th of July always brought in big timers from out of town, and Lou always made lots of money in tips. The game house was packed, and everyone was having a good time. Roy was the boss now, and he favored Lou, so he made sure she ran the big money tables. Lou talked smack to the men, and they enjoyed it. Lou was having a good time when someone tapped her on the shoulder. "Hey, Luella," Natalie said. Lou was surprised. "Hello, ma'am." Natalie waved her hand. "Now, Luella, this is not the time nor the place for all the formalities. Please, call me Natalie." "All right, and you can call me Lou." Natalie smiled. "Lou it is." Over the next week, Lou and Natalie became friends. Natalie would mock her sister-in-law, and Lou would laugh quietly. Natalie would also visit the game house, have a few drinks, and flirt with Roy. One evening, Lou was done with her work at the mayor's home and was preparing to leave for the day. As she gathered her things, she saw the mayor's wife put a thick steak the cook had made earlier and placed it in the dog's dish. "Here, baby. I know how much you love a thick, juicy, rare steak. Come get it, girl," she said. The dog walked over to the dish, sniffed the steak, then licked it, turned its nose up, and walked away. The mayor's wife looked at Lou and said, "Do you want this steak, Luella?" The doggy barely touched it. It took everything inside of Lou to not go completely off. Lou looked at her and asked, "You want me to eat a piece of meat not even the dog wants?" The mayor's wife looked smug and replied, "I said she hardly touched it." Her remark pissed Lou off even more, but she managed to hold it together. "No, I don't want it. Goodbye, ma'am." Lou left and never returned. The next night, Natalie showed up at the game house. "Can we talk, Lou?" Lou had her friend cover her tables while she and Natalie stepped outside. "I heard about what happened. She did that to spite me," Natalie said. "How you figure?" Lou asked. "Well, she sees how close we've gotten, and she knows I come and hang out here some nights. I believe she's jealous," Natalie replied. "How did you know what happened?" Lou asked. "Mike the handyman overheard it, and when you didn't show up today, he told me why," Natalie explained. "Oh, yeah, I did pass Mike in the hall when I was leaving," Lou said. "Lou, you know we have a big thing in common," Natalie said. "What's that?" Lou asked. "We're both widows," Natalie replied. "This is true," Lou said. "Ever since my husband passed on, I've been on the go, visiting strange lands and meeting different people. I guess the real reason is because I didn't want to face the loneliness. I'm getting tired of running around. I'm ready to face my fears. Meeting you and Roy made me want some stability and real friends in my life." "Lou, I have a big house with a pool and a guest house," Natalie said. "I've only seen those type of houses at the picture show," Lou said. "Have you ever been to California?" Natalie asked. "No, the biggest city I've ever been to was Chicago," Lou replied. "Well, California is very different from Chicago. It's always sunny and never rains. The beaches are beautiful and so are the trees," Natalie said. "I'll bet it's a sight to see," Lou said. "It is, believe me. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Lou, would you consider moving to California with me?" Lou's eyes grew big. "What?" Lou asked. "Move to California. You and your boys can stay in the guest house. It has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Like I said earlier, it's time for me to stop chasing my tail and go back home. You can work for me and be in charge of the staff. You wouldn't have to clean anything. You would only have to make sure the staff do their jobs from housekeeping and cooking meals to lawn care." Lou couldn't believe what she was hearing. Move to California and work as head of staff for a big Hollywood socialite? She almost said yes immediately, but thought about her mama. "I would have to talk it over with Mama," Lou said. "Oh, sure, I understand. I'm leaving day after tomorrow for Spain. The trip is already paid for, otherwise I would stay longer. But when I come back to the States, I will begin sprucing my house up. I'll wait to hear from you before I start to hire help. By then, you and your family can be on your way. I hope you say yes, Lou. We'll have a ball, and you won't be expected to eat behind a damn dog neither," Natalie said. Lou looked at Natalie and laughed. "What the hell is wrong with her?" Natalie asked. "I don't know, girl," Lou replied as they both laughed. When Lou got home, she checked on her sons. Then she checked on her mama before soaking in a warm bath. She laid back, closed her eyes, and imagined living in California. It was a dream given to her by Natalie. Lou knew she could make it there. All she needed was a helping hand, and Natalie was right there with her hand stretched out, offering to help. How could she say no to such a beautiful dream? And what did she really have to lose? Oh, how she wanted to say yes, but there was one thing stopping her. Helen, there's no way Mama's going to agree to move to California. Just no way, Lou said to herself. The next morning, Lou slept in late. She didn't have to go to the mayor's house anymore, and Helen made sure the boys got up and ready for school, so sleeping in felt like a guilty pleasure to Lou. When she finally decided to get up and make her some breakfast, Helen was sitting at the table reading a newspaper and drinking coffee. "Good morning, Mama." "Good morning." "I'm surprised you're up." "It's only 8 o'clock, Helen said. "Only 8 o'clock? I ain't slept this late in years," Lou responded. "This is true. I just thought you'd stay in bed longer." "Hell, I would've," Helen said. "No, you wouldn't. You would have made a big breakfast and had at least 2 loads of laundry done by now," Lou teased. "2 loads? Shoot, try 4, Helen said with laughter. "Any more coffee?" Lou asked. "A fresh pot percolating on the stove. It's ready. Go on and pour you a cup," Helen replied. Lou poured a cup and sat at the table. "Mama, I want to talk to you about something." "Baby, I done already told you. Standing up for yourself and quitting that job is called self-care. You'll find something else," Helen said. "I know, but it's not about that," Lou said. "Oh, what you want to talk about?" Helen asked. "You remember the mayor's sister Natalie?" Lou asked. "The one from California? What about her?" Helen asked. "Well, she came down to the game house last night and asked me if I wanted a job as head of staff in California," Lou said. "Oh, she did, huh?" Helen said. "Yes, and she lives in a beautiful mansion, and she said we can live in her 3-bedroom guest house," Lou continued. "We? Who is we?" Helen asked. "Me, you, and the boys, Mama," Lou replied. "Look, you're young and feel the need to bounce all over the world. I don't." "Oh, Mama, I'm not asking you to sell Daddy's land or nothing. I'm asking you to come with me and let's try California on and see if it fits. If it don't, then we come back home. No harm done," Lou said. "And if it fits?" Helen asked. "If it fits, we stay and have a better life," Lou replied. "I like my life just fine. Now, like I said, if you want to go, then you go. But as for me, I ain't lost nothing in California, and I ain't gonna find nothing in California," Helen said. "But Mama, just think about it, please." Helen stood up. "You heard what I said. Now I'm through talking." Then she left the kitchen. Lou took a sip of her coffee, and just like that, "It remains a dream," she said.